ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Livestream Legends. We got a special episode today tackling how to turn your live streams into repurposed content on all platforms. We're going to be going over several different ways that you can tap into this adventure, all of the approaches that you can pursue into turning your one show into 20 plus pieces of content, even more so if you are repurposing into multiple formats there. So loving this so much, appreciate you guys so much. Let me know if you're here in the mix with us. Love to see who is here. Let me know if you're here at the show. It's time to go. Let's get it. Hello, everybody rocking and rolling in here. Robert Berry in the mix. I have not seen the stream pop up on LinkedIn yet, but I see comments coming through, so welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Let's keep it rocking and rolling. It looks like we're all good. Thank you guys so much. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We're just warming up the room here. Drop a quick little comment if you're hanging with us. We're firing up a freaking awesome episode. This is one that I frequently get asked over and over and over, is how to tap into this system, this sort of media machine, I call it. So I'm excited to share all the intel with you guys. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the show. Hey, Chris Hennessy in the building. Teddy Pierce coming in from Jupiter, Florida. There we go. Teresa and Jackie, as always, thank you guys so much. Marky B in the building. My man Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for hopping in here. What we're gonna be talking about today is how to repurpose your live streams into everything. That's what we're talking about today. It's going to be an easy, simple way to maximize your mileage. If you are serious about content marketing, if you are serious about media or any production, you need to be repurposing. So I hope you guys stick around. We are jumping into the show right now. Thank you to everybody that's been hopping in here. This is a two-way street. So if you have any questions or if you want to share your insights, please do jump in the chat, share your advice, ask your questions. We're all in this journey of becoming Livestream Legends together. So thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get it rolling right now. Today, we are going to go into the secret formula. As always, I've got the secret sauce for you guys. And this is what we need to focus on. If you are serious about repurposing, you need to consider all three of these steps. You need to clarify your purpose. Those of you that may have been forgetting the key word here in repurposing, you need to have a clear purpose of what it's for. Then we're going to go into your palette. What options of content formats and channels do you have available? And then most importantly here at the end, your process. How can you integrate this into your life, your business, your company in an effective and efficient way? So let's go ahead and start the journey with the most critical piece: repurposing with a real purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the key piece of this puzzle, because when it comes to repurposing, there are a ton of people out there that think they need to do it. They see Gary V repurposing across platforms, and all they do is just randomly slice and just spray and throw stuff everywhere. What you need to be doing is getting a clear focus and understanding what your true purpose is with the repurposing. So the way that you find out this repurpose is starting with these 3 key questions. If you go through these questions, you will have a much higher ROI on any repurposed content that you're putting together. The first thing you need to ask is, who do you need to reach? This is your target audience that you need to have vivid clarity on, not only who they are, but what their lifestyle is like. What do they do? And then tapping into the second piece of their life or their business is, where are they hanging out? You need to answer this question critically. And then the last piece is, how do they consume their content? If you can combine all 3 of these, you will see your repurposed content amplify in ROI. The biggest problem that I see with people repurposing, if you are trying to repurpose content but not following these steps, you are not repurposing, you are simply regurgitating content in semi-effective ways. So I encourage you to not skip this step. Go through these questions with vivid clarity, and you will see your results amplify. Now, hello to everybody jumping in here. I see some new faces in the mix. KDJ is in the building. Oh man, appreciate you, sir. All right, we are gonna keep it rocking and rolling. Amira, thank you for hopping in. Mark, thank you for hopping in. Let's continue the show here. We're talking about how to repurpose your streams to get max mileage. So what we initially chatted about was these 3 pieces, and we just went into the key parts of your purpose. Now let's get into your palette. Essentially, your palette, the way you can think of this, is the total types of content you have available to repurpose into. The total types of content you have. Think of it like a palette that you can create your entire, content marketing recipe with these ingredients here. So we're going to tap into video and animation. Then we're going to go into graphics and illustration, how you can repurpose these in static images. One of my favorites, repurposing into audio. And then, of course, one that you may have not been thinking about, repurposing into text, is super, super valuable within the right context. So if you look at these 4 categories, we're going to be able to put together over 20 pieces of micro content. Now, I'm not encouraging you to do this literally every time, but it's to give you a palette of all the options you can consider for repurposing. So let's continue with this lovely little media palette. Jumping into our first category, video content, what you are most likely thinking when you understand the phrase repurposing video. So we have our long form content. We have the full hour or 30 minutes or however long your stream is, that you have the entire duration of the show. Now, these are the strategies that you can take to utilize not only one episode of that footage, but how you can have a compounding content strategy using seasons or multiple episodes of footage over time. You're going to really see the ROI amplify when you think of this compounding element. So let's take a look at this palette and the options you have for slicing and dicing your video content. The first of which is simply clean cut clips. Now, if you've been on Twitch or even YouTube now, there is a feature to literally cut directly from the stream a clip from that show. And what this does is it essentially takes the raw form, not hyper edited, it's just start to finish, a complete clip. So if you have a moment or a single outro or one of those mic drop moments that was great, and it happens all in one streak, in one continuous moment, you can grab a clean clip, directly from that. It's super low input, and there's even people that can do it from the audience. This is super powerful. The other thing that is very popular is the edited clips. So this is taking a complete source episode and taking portions of it, removing ums and uhs, and then maybe any irrelevant details in between, but ultimately consolidating it into a single clip that can be used on social media. These are great for if there's like a little mini lesson or a story that happened during the stream. Use these edited clips as a strategy. Now, keeping it rolling, there's going to be a lot of these to roll through. Custom animation. This is another way that you can amplify or recreate your videos in new ways. There are illustrators and animators that can take your stream and the audio of it and repurpose it into a story with characters moving around or things happening. So consider when and if that would be useful. This is especially useful if you have good audio and the video wasn't great. Consider custom animation. And a brilliant little backup plan here. Comedy and bloopers. These are just little outtakes or moments. We are all humans, folks. We all make errors. We all make mistakes. And not only is it not really a problem because most people don't really care, this actually can be an asset in the right context. You can share those bloopers, share those really human, authentic moments with people, literally as a content strategy. So even when things go wrong, there's still a silver lining that you can get some value out of that moment. So consider comedy and bloopers, anything funny that you can throw in the mix. You are set. Don't worry about it. Just share it, and people most likely don't care. So let's keep it rolling into the last few video styles that you can consider here. One of which is a promo montage. So a lot of the clips that we've talked about here are actually around a single episode, using a single source as your primary source, and then slicing that one episode into clips. What a lot of people miss is using an entire season or several episodes of a show to bring them together into a montage. So if you need promotional material for your show, this is one of my best recommendations, is go through your episodes and snag some of the best moments and put them all together into a single montage. And that can really capture the vibe of the show, what really happens, and it helps bring future people to your shows. So consider the promo montage of several episodes, and then the opposite approach here with promo teasers. If you guys are familiar with traditional TV, traditional radio, you have very likely seen these teasers where you have just a small snippet, maybe 10, 15, 30 seconds of teasing what's going to happen on the show, any type of enticement to bring people there. So consider those promo teasers. And then the last piece, this is really getting macro, but this is something I'm going to be tapping into here this next year, is using your footage in the context of a documentary or a micro documentary in this context. If you've been streaming for a while, like myself included, I have old shows and old episodes, old streams from like middle of 2020 when I was starting that I can now use as B-roll in little mini documentaries or any type of video-based storytelling that you want to do. So don't think of the repurposing always as a direct clip. Those are great, and that's like the go-to move. But think about how you can use this source footage in the context of your entire journey, of sharing it as just as B-roll while you're doing a voiceover, anything like that. So take note of all of these categories here that we mentioned, and you will have a really wide palette at your disposal. So to really amplify the craziness here, we don't need to get too deep into specific formatting, but within each of these content types, you can reformat them in specific ways. So those of you that are familiar with social media, you have seen all of these formats. The square ratio is the most popular. Horizontal is what you're looking at now, the good old cinematic style. And what's really becoming popular, thanks to like TikTok and stories, is the vertical orientation. So consider how you can use any of these clips and then repurpose them into the appropriate format for your channel. So already can tell this is going to be an extended show. Let's keep it rocking and rolling to try and squeeze through these a little bit quicker. Thank you guys for hanging. Amazing to see the amazing LinkedIn family coming in hot today. Some fresh people over on YouTube. Matthew, thank you to the party. Thank you to the party. Welcome to the party. Thank you for joining. This streaming thing can it gets a little difficult over here sometimes. So I'm gonna go back to the presentation instead of the chat. Love y'all, but let's keep it rolling. Now let's chat about how you can repurpose your graphics and illustrations in creative ways. So every single social media format has videos, static graphics, all kinds of ways you can tap into it. So if slicing directly into videos isn't your thing, think of how you can use these. So you can make a graphic that spotlights the guest themselves. If you got like a baller guest coming in there or somebody's just really sensational, you can make a promo graphic literally around their image, their name, their everything, and that gives you another piece of content. Same concept, but with a more direct approach. You can use a quote directly from the show, either from yourself or from the guest, and spotlight that in an image. Another simple way to get some extra mileage out of here without video editing and all that. So, and then similar to the prior category, there's always the option of custom illustration. I'm seeing a lot of influencers, content creators, Gary Vee style folks that use custom illustrations now, and they are super impressive in the right context. So think of how you can repurpose into those. And one of my favorites, the good old slider, or some of you guys may know this as a carousel on Instagram or anything, but this is basically a multi-image carousel that you can go through. And this works really great for basically summarizing all the key points or the key like mic drop moments in an episode, and then putting them all together for somebody to basically explore in a more static format. And then one more here that might be a little sneaky is your thumbnail title image. So those of you that are YouTubers or familiar with the importance of a thumbnail image, this is something you're typically investing into when you're making videos or streams or anything. You can actually use that same image as promo content for your show. You don't have to create an original post. You can double dip and use your thumbnail image as the promo material itself. So consider all these pieces here. And same caveat as before, the multiple formats are going to be sneaky to keep an eye on. But depending on your channel and your audience, which we've alluded to earlier, there will be a specific format you want to lead into. So let's keep it rolling. Thank you guys for hanging. If you have any questions here, feel free to drop them in the chat, throw them on here. But I'm going to continue jumping into one of my favorites, audio. So a lot of people don't realize that your live stream can be recorded to capture separate audio tracks. And this may seem not super significant at the beginning, but for those of you that are into podcasting or curious about podcasting, multi-track audio is a godsend. It's super helpful for editing and balancing and cleaning everything up. So now, thanks to tools like Restream Studio, what I'm in right now is you can have not only the source video of everything, but individual audio tracks of every guest or any source that you have. So think about how you can use the audio now after the stream is over in creative ways. And one of my favorite ways when it's done right is amplifying your reach by polishing it and publishing it as a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your live stream can be a podcast, literally. Many people are discovering this double dip, and it gives you so much more mileage as far as viewership and overall traction, because you're no longer limited to only the people that can attend that stream. Now you've expanded your audience, and you have an evergreen, permanent version of that episode that people can listen to passively or listen to at work. Now, there is a little bit of strategy in making sure that your stream translates well to a podcast, but in general, you can double dip, tap into both, and get way more mileage. So let's keep it rolling. I am quickly running out of time as we approach the 30-minute mark. So audiograms, you guys have seen this. This is when you want to utilize audio only, kind of put it into a video format, but it just shares basically the quote or the voice or whatever that moment was in primarily audio form. These are great if you don't capture video, if you don't have great video version of anything. And then the last that I'm really starting to experiment with here is hybrid clips of edited audio from prior podcasts combined with music. This is something I don't see many or any people doing right now. So this is going to be something I'm going to be testing next year, is releasing a show that uses clips and mic drop moments or emotional storytelling moments in the context of a musical set or a musical journey. So think of how you can combine mediums and utilize alternative stuff like backing tracks or music or sound effects for a repurposed audio experience. So that is what we've got for audio only. Let's keep it rolling. Whew. Big day, folks. Big day, folks. Here we go. Almost through it. Thank you guys for staying. We've got a few more key pieces to tap into, but one of which that you guys might have not been considering is the text version of this. I don't know if any people even think of text when they think of repurposing, but what you can do is essentially use this as your digital media anchor strategy. So you've completed your live stream / potentially podcast. Now you can share the transcribed article. If you have that entire dialogue captured, that is ace content. That is top tier, high word count, targeted, subjective content. So you can start publishing this on your website as a growing resource, and you'll see that this has brilliant benefits for search engine optimization over time. People that are looking for specific topics, specific subjects, are going to start stumbling onto your article. So the easiest version of this is just a transcribed, direct, back and forth article. The even more advanced version is leveling up that page into a complete multimedia article. So if you have a brilliant guest that comes on, you can create a web page for each episode. And this episode can have a big sensational header or banner of whoever your guest was, a title, micro clips throughout the web page. You can use all those graphics. So for those of you that are publishing on your website, this multimedia article is really an amazing way to take all of the repurposed content, put it into one high value location, and anybody that ever is looking for that episode or wants to reference it can go straight to that page. They can listen to it directly. They can see the snippets. You can throw the slider on there. This is one of the most high value ways you can repurpose everything into a long-term evergreen archive, the multimedia articles. So back to the next option available in text content, you can actually take a snippet. I call them little snack size snippets, and take a quote from the show. Boom, throw it straight into social. And in some cases, it works great just as itself. But I advise at least adding your own commentary of saying a little something like, hey, it was an honor to hear a fresh perspective on repurposing live streams today. And then you share a little bit more about it, add some bonus insights. But that alone gives you a super low input way to get something out there and posted. And then a similar context, similar concept here that you can tackle, but rather than posting it on social, is you can share these snippets or these summaries in the context of an email. So anybody that's quickly browsing, just kind of checking, going through their email, you might be able to grab them and pull them to the full episode based on a little tiny text snippet that happened during the episode. So think of how you can piece all of these together in a creative way, because ultimately what this is all about is finding what works for you and your audience. If you can hit that cross point between both ends, you're going to be in a brilliant spot. So I'm going to go back real quick to these questions, folks, to make sure that we're understanding. I'm about to jump into how to tie this all together with your process. But essentially, these 3 questions need to be answered if you are repurposing. Who do you need to reach? That's your target audience. Where are they hanging out? That's your channel. And how do they consume content? That is your format that will show you, and essentially this gives you the if-then formula of what you need to be repurposing into and where you need to be posting it. So if you are not following these 3 steps, you are not repurposing content, you are simply regurgitating it. So keep all of those in mind with vivid clarity. And then really the key piece is bringing it all together. You need to target your ideal channels and your ideal formats. If you can hit both ends of that, you're going to be in a very good sweet spot that allows you to create a rinse and repeat type of situation. So once you've targeted your ideal channels and your ideal formats, now it's on you to invest in evergreen content, processes, and any support needed to get the job done. So this is going to be a key piece to sustain these efforts. Repurposing is a lot of work, but if you can invest in evergreen content and systems, this will make the mileage way more for not nearly as much input. So consider anytime you're developing this content, try to make it evergreen, which essentially means that it's relevant for as long as possible, or technically forever. So this is going to be anything that's like has to do with maybe a weekly news update or something that was that week only isn't going to be great for repurposing. High level strategy, purpose, theories, systems, stuff like that is going to be way more evergreen. So think of that as you're developing your systems, your processes. And then the last piece of this, which is so critical, you need to track everything. Track, optimize, and amplify what is working. I think a big key piece of this is you need to be intentional. Again, that key piece of having a purpose within your repurposing. If you don't have that, it's going to feel like you're just spinning the wheels and not much is happening. So track everything you can, optimize anything that's not doing great, and anything that's doing well, crank it up and do more of those. So if you can connect those pieces together, you will have brilliant setup in your life. So think about all of the systems and strategies that you can essentially use in that way. So that is technically the end of the line. We made it perfectly at the 30-minute mark. If anybody has questions here, I am about to jump into the chat. So let's pull this up here. Let's crank some music in this building. And anybody, if I missed your question, please drop it in the chat now. I was not able to keep up with everything during the show. So I'll be able to catch anything coming through here now. And we're in the chill mode. We're in the after hours party here. So appreciate you guys hanging. Sean Porter, Majida, Kirsten, Robert Berry, Mary Davis. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Cool. So we're just leaving the room open. Anybody that's been joining us, love you. Thank you so much for joining. Everybody on YouTube, drop a quick comment if you've been hanging with us tonight or today, to this afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Would love to know at least who is in the mix with us. All y'all over on Facebook, drop a quick little comment. Let us know that you're here. So we're in the after hours party here. And if you got a quick question about streaming, about production, or about repurposing, drop it here in the chat. Would love to tackle anything you want to know about. So that's what the last portion of this show is, just leaving it open for you guys. I get to jam to some tunes. Y'all get to hang out and chill. Teresa just dropped the Discord link for anybody that is curious about joining our community. We got a bunch of content creators, entrepreneurs, streamers, executives of all kinds. Would love to have you in there and hop in that link if you're interested. But for now, we are slowly wrapping up. Thank you guys so much for joining over on YouTube. Everybody on Facebook, appreciate y'all, even though we don't see you. We'll keep it rocking and rolling. So let me check the chat. Uno mas. The 30-minute mark got a new nickname. Love it. Amazing. Going off what you said about finding where your content gets the most traction, it's not LinkedIn for sure. Well, interesting enough, Sean, for me, it is LinkedIn, but I'm definitely wanting to expand into the multi-platform setup. So I'm looking at TikTok for sure is on my menu, or just investing more strategy into YouTube. I think there's a lot of value there. But as of micro content, I actually get the most traction on LinkedIn. So, and they do better than literally the streams. So this is a key piece a lot of people might be missing, is understanding the true value of repurposing. This is one of the things a lot of people miss, because the stream itself might only get a dozen views or 100 or so, but the micro content can get thousands. So for those of you that have been investing into streaming, investing into a show, but you haven't tapped into the repurposing yet, this is a massive missed opportunity. And honestly, in my context, the micro content has been more valuable than the stream itself, and it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation, because you can't get the micro content without the stream, but all of the micro content does better than the actual stream it's from. So it's amazing to know how much extra mileage you can get, and if you are streaming but not repurposing, this is a massive missed opportunity. Love it. Oh, Sean, if you can find your angle on TikTok, that's huge. So that's what I keep hearing. Would love to know if there's any other TikTokers here in the mix. Have you tested the waters of repurposing content on TikTok? I know a lot of stuff there is original short form content, but I would love to know if anybody here has tested the waters of repurposing content into TikTok, into the good old vertical mode. This is something I'm heavily considering, but actually haven't even scraped the surface of. So this is where I'm asking for your guys' advice on this end. I know we got some TikTokers there. I know we got some TikTokers out here. So that's what I'd be curious is if is there hope for repurposing on there, or does it need to be original content? That's what I would want to know. So feel free to jump in the chat here. We technically already had a successful show, but we are just chilling. Majida, thank you so much. Kirsten says there's a unicorn potential on the horizon. I like it. I like the optimism. Thank you, Kirsten. Jackie, thank you so much for joining. Chris, Usama, Marky B, Mike Cameron, thank you so much for joining. I see you got a dip. All good, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the line. Feel free to reach out to me directly for those of y'all that are all on LinkedIn. Anybody on YouTube and Facebook right now, would love to have you connect across any platforms. We've got a brilliant community growing. So thank you guys so much for your sharing your insights here today, in addition to just joining the show, being a part of this journey. It's been amazing to straight up literally share this journey with you guys every single week, and I cannot express enough gratitude and excitement for what's in store for the future. We're going to be leveling up streams, leveling up productions, adding new shows. It's all brilliant, and heavy thanks to Restream. So anybody that's curious about starting their streaming journey, jump into the description here. We got a link that you can get going with Restream in like 5 clicks. It's super simple, super easy, and it's changed my life and business in a brilliant way. So appreciate you guys joining. This is the end of the line. Thank you for joining another episode of Livestream Legends. Take care, y'all. Good night, good morning, good afternoon,